All right, let's talk about a huge challenge in the cloud world. How do you get all the amazing convenience of a managed database service without getting locked into one vendor's expensive ecosystem? It's a real headache. Well, today we're going to break down a fascinating open source project called OpenEverest that's designed to solve exactly that. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll really unpack that whole vendor lock-in problem. Then, we'll introduce OpenEverest as the potential solution. After that, we'll pop the hood and see how it actually works its magic. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about what this all means for the future of database as a service. Okay, first up, the database lock-in problem. You can think of this as the classic trade-off, right? The very real and sometimes very high price you pay for convenience when you're working in the cloud. I mean, here's the deal. Managed cloud databases are fantastic, no doubt about it. You click a couple of buttons and poof, you have a super powerful, scalable database ready to go. It feels almost too easy. But that ease comes with a catch. You're building your entire application on proprietary tech that's tied to one single provider. So what happens when they raise their prices? Or what if your business needs to move to a different cloud or even back on premise? Well, you're stuck. You're pretty much trapped. And that brings us to our next section, Enter OpenEverest. This is where we introduce the open source hero of our story, built specifically to resolve that tension between wanting convenience and needing control. So what is OpenEverest really? It's an open source platform that gives you all that automated power of a managed database, but completely on your own terms. The key here is that it runs on any Kubernetes cluster. It doesn't care if it's on AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, or even on servers humming away in your own data center. And its mission is super clear. Goal number one, right at the top, is to help you avoid vendor lock-in. It achieves this by letting you build your own private automated database as a service that you control. It's also designed to be modular, so you can mix and match different databases with different storage solutions, all while it handles the really painful operational tasks like updates and scaling for you. Which leads us to the big question. How does it actually work? Let's move from the what to the how and take a peek under the hood. The secret sauce, the real magic behind this whole thing, is a concept called Kubernetes operators. The best way to think of an operator is like an expert robot DBA. It's a piece of software that has all the human operational knowledge for running a specific database, like PostgreSQL or MongoDB encoded right into it. This enables a completely declarative workflow, and that's a total game changer for managing databases. Instead of writing a bunch of manual commands, you just declare what you want. You create a simple file that says something like, I need a 3-node MongoDB cluster, and I want daily backups. OpenEverest's operators take that definition, translate it into all the necessary steps, and Kubernetes makes it a reality. And it doesn't stop there. It constantly works to make sure your database stays in that perfect state. Now, technically speaking, it does this using a powerful Kubernetes feature called Custom Resource Definitions, or CRDs. This basically lets OpenEverest teach Kubernetes about a new type of object, like a database cluster. And just like that, managing a super complex database becomes as simple and version controllable as any other basic Kubernetes resource. It's brilliant! And the team's vision is even bigger. As one of the maintainers, Sergey Pronin, put it, they're not just thinking about databases. They're building a flexible, modular foundation that could one day manage all kinds of complex data infrastructure, giving you one unified way to handle your entire data stack. Okay, let's wrap up with our last section, the future of DBaaS. What's so interesting here is how OpenEverest fits into the broader industry conversation, because this project didn't just appear in a vacuum. It landed right in the middle of a pretty lively debate. You see, when OpenEverest was first announced, it definitely sparked some controversy. There was a lot of skepticism from people who still hold on to that old idea that Kubernetes, which was originally for stateless apps, is just the wrong tool for something as critical as a database. But as this comment points out, that belief is getting pretty outdated pretty fast. And we have the data to prove it. This isn't just a theory anymore. A recent survey from the Data on Kubernetes community found that a full 50% of organizations are already running their data workloads on Kubernetes in production. So this shift isn't coming, it's already here. So right now, OpenEverest has the big three covered, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MongoDB. But they have a really ambitious roadmap. They're planning to add support for popular tools like ClickHouse for data analytics and Vitess for scaling MySQL, plus deeper integrations with monitoring tools like Prometheus. Of course, OpenEverest isn't alone. You've got competitors like Kubeblocks, which has a more restrictive license but supports an incredible 35 different databases. Then there's KubeDB, which used to be fully open but now has a proprietary angle. OpenEverest is really carving its own path by staying fully open source with a permissive Apache 2.0 license and aiming for true community governance. And that point about governance is absolutely crucial to their whole strategy. The team plans to donate OpenEverest to the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, the CNCF. That's a huge move. It's designed to ensure the project stays independent, transparent, and is driven by the whole community, not just one company's roadmap. So, what's the big takeaway here? We're left with a really provocative question. Are we watching the birth of a new standard for how we manage our data infrastructure? Could these open, flexible, community-driven platforms finally become the default way we handle our most critical data, giving us both the power of the cloud and the freedom to control our own destiny? It's going to be a fascinating future to watch unfold. Thanks for tuning in.